in Boston. And joining us right now to talk about this series is our friend Eddie Johnson, former NBA guard, former King, NBA radio analyst. He's also the color analyst for the Phoenix Suns. Eddie's got a lot of jobs. He stays busy. He's good at what he does. And Eddie, thank you for joining us. It is much appreciated, my friend. I first wanted to ask you about Andrew Wiggins. What are your thoughts about what he's done this postseason and especially in this series, Eddie?
Well, again, I'm not shocked in the regard he's a talented player. I think we all knew that. Sometimes you need to be in the right environment. I'm going to use myself as an example here. When I got traded from the Sacramento Kings in 87, I had just signed a free agent contract. Probably, 4 out of the 5 years I was with the team, even when I was in Kansas City. I led the team in scoring. I was second in rebounding. We made the playoffs twice, I think, in that run, one time in Kansas City, and then, obviously, our first year in Sacramento. And obviously, we weren't winning at a high level. I paid a price. And when I got traded from there, and that's when Bill Russell took over. People said, "Oh, well, we're trading for defense," and I think he traded for Ed Pickney, and Eddie's not a good defender, and all that stuff, right? Anything to justify a deal, which is understandable. And I go to Phoenix, so I leave a team that was winning, 28 games, 35 games. I go to Phoenix. We struggle the first year. We make some moves, and all of a sudden, that following year, we win 55 games. I make Sixth Man of the Year. Kevin Johnson from Sacramento gets Most Improved. Tom Chambers makes an All-League team. Jerry Colangelo gets Executive of the Year. So you see where I'm going with this?
Right.
It's like a lot of times it's the environment change that is good for the player. And for Wiggins, he was in Minnesota. They had a very good trio. Didn't work out. I kind of wish that trio would have stuck together, Karl-Anthony Towns, Zach LaVine, and Wiggins, but it didn't. But they had their struggles. And despite putting up good numbers, he had his struggles. I told people, I said, well, he got traded to Golden State. I said he's going to take off. Because now he doesn't have that pressure of being the quote-unquote first pick in the draft.
Right.
He's going to be able to play off of these guys.
Yep.
Not going to be the first guy to touch the ball. He's going to be open a lot because you got to focus on, obviously, Steph and Clay. And Jordan Poole developed, so they started their attention toward Jordan Poole. So Wiggins is going to be open. And in the last game, he got open, but Boston guarded him silly. Like, he was 0 for 9, I believe, from, around the 3 area, okay? But yet he had 26 points because they attacked him like they didn't want him to shoot the 3. He put it on the floor. He got to the rim. I suspect it's going to be a different way they're going to guard him tonight. I think he'll get a lot of three-point opportunities, and they're not going to be in a hurry to rush him where he goes right by them with that great athleticism. But credit to Wiggins that he has gotten the confidence now, man, to just be able to be considered. Now, I don't think he'll win Finals MVP. It's a chance he could based on the scenario. If he plays well tonight, they lose. Steph doesn't play well. They go back home. They win Game 7. He plays well again at a high level in a close game. He might have a chance. Well, probably not. If they win, Steph is going to get it. But I wouldn't be shocked if he got some votes. Look, he's leading them in rebounding. He scored the ball tremendously well. And Jason Tatum is not scoring consistently. And guess who's guarding him? Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
Well, he played fantastic, man.
Let me ask you about Tatum. And Eddie Johnson's with us. Your assessment of Tatum, how he's played to get to the finals, and now that he's in the finals. Eddie, does he look like somebody who is, possibly fatigued from having to play 2 long series before this one, or do you think it's more Warriors defense? How do you assess how he's playing?
Well, I don't think any defense stops great offense. Okay, I was guarded by a ton of great defenders. If I was on, they look like they couldn't play defense, and that's the mentality of a tremendous offensive player. And Tatum is. He's had a great run through these playoffs. He's played some fantastic ball. He's had some high-scoring games. He matched Giannis in that Milwaukee series when he had to, and they were able to get out of that series with a win. No, here's the point. And you can't make excuses. We're running a marathon. In a marathon, guess what? You're going to cramp up. You're going to get dehydrated.
Yep.
You're going to feel like the world's coming to an end. But if you want to win it, you got to keep running. And that's what he's immersed in right now. He's got some nicks and bruises, without a doubt. I mean, I think his shoulders bothered him, but who cares? You got to win 2 more games. Everybody's nicked up right now. And so I think he's given into it. I do. And he's got to find a way to just shake it off and try to be able to get 2 more wins and get a championship, and then you can rest all summer.
No doubt.
And that's the key for him. And I expect him to come out and play well. He's been their best player, regardless of not playing well. But he's got to play at a much higher level. He truly does, and he can't turn the ball over. That's been their problem in this series. I mean, they've been turning the ball over like crazy. When they haven't turned it over, they've won.
Eddie, let me
over 15 times, they lose.
Let me ask you about the turnovers. Most of these turnovers, would you put it on the Warriors' defense, or would you put it on the Celtics and their lack of execution?
I'll put it on the Celtics. All due respect to the Warriors' defense. Look, they've dealt with some good defenses. They just beat Miami. So I mean, they know how to circumvent defenses. I think they've gotten loose with the ball because they get caught up in trying to play like the Warriors. Like, you stay with what's going well for you, and don't worry about what the Warriors are doing. Now, the Warriors are very good at getting you to change your mentality that way, but I think they're just trying too much. Like Jaylen Brown, for instance. Let's face it. I'm 63 years old, and I was the guy that didn't use the dribble much because I like to catch the ball in my range, and I just go one dribble right, one dribble left, or I just shoot it right in your grill. And that's Jaylen Brown. But for some reason, Jaylen Brown wants to be a dribbler. Like,
yep.
He wants to be a dribbler, and he can't dribble. And it's like, okay, that's a problem. And then Jason Tatum is just going to the basket too soft. Like, they're ripping the ball out of his hands. He's trying to draw fouls. He's not getting them. And then he gets caught, and he's trying these crazy passes. I don't know how many times they've thrown the ball backwards toward the other team's basket, and they take it and they go down, they knock a 3 down off the fast break or get a layup. I mean, they have ad nauseum turned it over in their 3 losses, and that's why they're sitting where they are right now. Boston is a better team, man. And nobody's like, hating on Golden State. Warrior fans like to say that when you say stuff like that. But Boston is a better team, but they're not the smarter team. And a lot of times, because of that, it gets you beat.
Yep.
And right now, that's what's getting them beat.
Yeah, Eddie Johnson is with us. I said in this series, looking at this series, Eddie, and I know you don't know me personally. I'm actually from New England, so I've watched a lot of Celtics. And, I said before this series began, I picked the Warriors in 7, and to me it came down to one word. It was execution. I haven't seen the Celtics be able to execute consistently enough for me to believe that they would win this series, and it goes back to the turnovers and missing 10 free throws. Let me ask you about Steph Curry, though. He obviously had an off night, Game 5, huge for the Warriors to win that game with Steph not shooting well. Could that actually happen again, or they need Steph to be Steph?
Of course it can happen again because Boston has the best defense in the league. So it can happen again, and we don't know what's going on with Steph. I mean, did he push himself to a point where, in game 5 that he didn't have the energy, or he had some issues going on? And nobody's going to talk about issues right now because it becomes a target. All right, trust me. If I was playing and I knew a guy's wrist was hurting, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hit his wrist.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna hit it.
You're gonna hit it. Yep.
I'm gonna hit it. All right. Your shoulder hurting on a foul, not being dirty, but I'm gonna tap it.
Yeah, you gotta bump him.
Like, yeah. So nobody's gonna talk about it, but yeah, I mean, I felt that Curry would not be the same in the next game because he left it all out there because they had to win that game. They could not go back home down 3-1. And so, no, it wouldn't shock me if he struggled again, but I wouldn't be shocked either if he rolled out and got 35. I mean, that's just how good he is.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But he can't beat them by himself. And that's what Boston has to understand. Like, they got beaten Game 5 because a multitude of guys played well. And Curry did not play well. But still, they didn't shut down at least one of those guys. Jordan Poole got off. Gary Payton II got off. Wiggins got off. I mean, you can't allow that to happen. I don't care with any team. And so, I think Clay is a problem tonight. Clay has historically been extremely good in Game 6s.
Yep.
And I'm sure he's going to carry that into Game 6.
Eddie, last one for you. We got about a minute. Do you think this series gets to a Game 7?
I do. I just find it hard to believe that a team that has not lost 2 in a row since January or something like that. In the playoffs, they haven't, even though they struggled at home. I just find it hard to believe that Boston can drop 3 straight games. I just do. And I think when your back's against the wall, you're going to come out and you're going to fight ferociously. And when do the Warriors realize, okay, they might be losing this battle, and they put their foot on the brake a little bit, knowing they got a Game 7 at home? Because the crazy part is when you push yourself to the limit, it could lead to injury. It's just a weird dynamic, man, when you have a situation like the Warriors do, and Boston knowing that, if they lose a game, they're done. And so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I expect a close game early, but I expect Boston to find a way to win because I think their aggressiveness on the glass might be the difference in the game.
Eddie, great stuff. It's always awesome catching up. Let's do this again soon. I appreciate you.
All right, sound good. Thank you.
Thank you. There goes Eddie Johnson again, former NBA